Hi, good day everyone. I am Jonalisa Solis and we are here now in Module 17 talks about the socio-emotional development of the preschoolers. But before anything else, what do you mean about socio-emotional development?
Socio-emotional development represents a specific domain of child development. It is a process which children acquire the capacity to understand, experience, express, and manage emotions and to develop meaningful relationships with others. So, the socio-emotional development is important because this development influences the self-confidence of a child, to their ability to develop meaningful relationship with others, and a sense of value to those around them. Diba, as you can observe, if a child grows in an environment where he treated and valued or iyang parents kay perming kaaway or ginasaktan siya physically or even emotionally, of course, doon na gina siya dakong impact sa bata, especially on how he deals or behave towards other. Attending preschool is more for socialization than for formal academic learning. Socio-emotional development is crucial in the preschool years. We hear a lot of parents and teachers and even preschool administrators say that attending preschool is more for socialization than for formal academic learning. So, preschool, that is the first step where a child is sent to school. At that age, di man gid sila academically excited to learn. Usually, mas excited sila sa ilang environment where they meet new friends. So, it's more like socialization rather than a formal academic learning. Preschoolers now discover their new rules outside their home. They become interested to assert themselves as they relate with other people. There are big ideas on preschooler socio-emotional development. First, the development of initiative is crucial to the preschooler. Second, a healthy concept is needed for preschoolers to interact with others. Third, environmental factors influence gender identity in young children. Fourth, preschooler social development is shown through the stages of play. Fifth, the caregiving styles of parents and teachers affect the preschooler socio-emotional development. And lastly, the preschoolers are interested in building friendships. Now, let's proceed to the preschoolers initiative. So, preschooler deals with the psychological conflict of initiative versus guilt. Erikson believed that healthy preschoolers develop initiative, the tendency of preschoolers to want to take action and assert themselves. They will yearn to create, invent, pretend, take risks, and engage in lively and imaginative activities with peers. That is why if the parents and teachers support to the wants of a child and how he regulates his behavior, the sense of initiative of a preschooler will grow. But if the adults show overprotection and extreme restriction, the preschooler will definitely develop guilt. Apply judicious permissiveness. This involves setting realistic boundaries that keep preschoolers safe and respectful of self and others, while allowing them greater opportunity to explore, take risks, and to engage creative processes. Preschooler will develop a healthy sense of initiative in an affirming, encouraging, and stimulating environment. So, the permissive parenting, di siya demanding kay di man i-keep sa parent ang bata under control. Like, i-allow lang niya ang bata to regulate their behavior ug ang choices sa bata, but napoy limitations. The self-concept and the preschooler. Self-concept refers to the way one sees himself, a general view about one's abilities, strengths, and weaknesses. The preschooler self-concept focuses on observable characteristics and her or his usual beliefs, emotions, and attitudes. Important aspect of self-concept is self-esteem, which specifically refers to one's judgments about one's worth. Children are naturally positive. They had a high regard of themselves and usually, when they're given a task, they are confident to do it, even if they fail to achieve the desirable outcome, but they have the zeal to try again. environmental factors and gender in the preschooler socio-emotional development. So the preschooler become capable of gender typing, which is the process of forming gender rules, gender-based preferences, and behaviors accepted by society. So the preschoolers, kahibalo na sila about gender rules and mo-form na sila gender stereotypes and where there are certain things like toys, colors, and games and others which are exclusively for boys only or for girls only. Gender typing and gender identity are influenced by environmental factors such as family, teachers, peers, and the mass media. Differences in parental expectations and behavior towards daughter and sons affect gender typing and gender identity. Like for example, ang parents expect their children to play with toys that are right for their gender. In terms for their emotional aspect, they expect for boys nga mo show og emotional control and competitive. While ang girls, they are expected to be warm and soft. Other than that, ang mga friends and peers sa usa ka bata dakog influence sa iyang gender identity. Kay kun ang usa ka bata nga lalaki mag-uban-uban sa mga girls and mo indulge pod sa mga girly activities, possible nga eventually ang iyang gender identity might change. Kay as he grow older, pwede niyang i-perceive ang iyang kaugalingon as a woman pod. Part 10 stages of play. So there are 6 stages of play proposed by Partens. So play is the main agenda of the preschool years. As the preschooler develops, social interaction with playmates increases. That is why Mildred Parton did a study on children's play behavior, which led to Parton's stages of play. So the stages describe the play development of children and the gradual increase of social interaction. Play becomes an important venue for the child's development of social skills like joining a play situation, taking turns, sharing, helping, saying sorry, and working together. So play is indeed the child's major business. So the 6 stages of play by Partin are unoccupied, onlooker, solitary play, parallel play, associative play, and cooperative play. So first is unoccupied. So this is from 0 to 3 months. So the child appears not to be playing but direct his attention on anything that interests him. So in this stage, the child is not playing but just observing. Second is the onlooker from 0 to 2 years. So the child spends time watching others play. He may talk to them but does not enter into play with them. So in this stage, igora mo lang to ang bata sa nagdula but dili mo apil. Third is the solitary play from 2 to 3 years. So the child starts to play on his own. He seems not to notice other children playing nearby. Next is the parallel play from 2 to 4 years. So the child plays with toys similar to those near him, but only plays beside and not with them. No interaction takes place. So this time, children play next to each other, but wala sila ga-interact. In this stage, ang mga bata wa sila nag-engage o social exchange. Bale, kini nga stage mura ra siya warm-up exercise. Children work side by side on the same activity, practicing skills and learning new methods to engage together. Fifth is the associative play from 3 to 4 years. So, the child plays with others. There is interaction among them, but no task, assignment, rules, and organization are agreed upon. So, this time, naay interaction sa mga bata pero wala sila'y cooperation. Like for example, magdula ang mga bata sa playground pero they are doing different things. Diri nga stage, i-practice na sa bata kung unsay na observe niya through onlooker and parallel play. So children start to use their newfound social skills to engage with others. Last is the cooperative, age 4 to 6 years old. So the child plays with others bound by some agreed upon rules and rules. The goal is maybe to make something, play a game, or act out something. So in this stage, the child is interested both in people playing and in the activity. Di parehas sa associative play, dere organized na and participants do na assigned rules, and this is the beginning of teamwork. Also, in this stage, caregivers should support their children engage in cooperative play by staying close to them and helping them learn a healthy expression of emotions and teach them problem-solving skills. Friendships in preschool. As they continue to grow, preschoolers become interested in having friends. This should be encouraged in the preschool years as friendships benefit the preschooler's development by providing stimulation, assistance, companionship, social comparison, and affection. In preschool, ang mga bata will start to play more with others and begin to form relationships. We know right nga ang friendship importante gyud during early years kay this is the time they learn about the give and take of relationships by sharing experiences, feelings, and pag-interact nila with one another. Children learn how to meet the social needs of others and of their own. Diha sa friendship, daghan nga skill nga ma-develop sa mga bata like patience, communication, makabalo sila musturya and maminaw sab sa uban, consideration, empathy, and ilahang play skill and social skill. Through friendships, preschoolers are able to practice different social rules like being a leader, a follower, someone who takes risk, and someone who helps out and comfort. Caregiving styles. So, caregiving styles affect the socio-emotional development of the children. So, these caregivers pertains to the parents, teachers, and adults that care for the child. Bumrind have a model that describes the different types of caregiving styles, and this look into the adult authority and the development of children. However, throughout the time, Bumrind identified varying degrees of demandingness and responsiveness as determinants of 4 styles of caregiving. Responsiveness. It refers to caregiver behavior that pertains to the expression of affection and communication. So responsiveness refers from the word itself response, refers to how adults, parents, or teachers respond to the emotional and physical needs of the child. It refers to how warm, caring, and respectful the adult to the child. It involves openness in communication and the willingness to explain things in ways that the child will understand. Demandingness refers to the level of control and expectations. This involves discipline and confrontation strategies. So I will show you the 4 caregiving styles of Bumrind, which includes authoritative, its level of demandingness and responsiveness, the authoritarian, permissive, and negligent. First, let's talk about the authoritative parenting. So the parents gives reasonable demands and consistent limits, expresses warmth and affection, and listens to the child's point of view. So ang parents nga nagamit ani nga style kay supportive and shows interest sa activity sa bata. So in this style, ang discipline approach kay nag-focus more on teaching than punishing. So as a result to the preschooler, the child develops good self-control, realistic view of oneself, and builds the child's capacity for empathy. In authoritarian parenting, this style is low in support and high in demandingness. Parents expect and demand obedience from their child and do not provide explanation for their orders. Diri ang parents are strict, tightly monitors children, and expresses little warmth. Permissive. Parents are high in support and low in demandingness. Diri di kaayo mo punish ang adult. It's more like they're a friend than a parent. Ang way din his a parent to show their love is through giving and fulfilling wishes sa ilahang anak. Tagaan nila og full freedom og di sila moingon og no. Here, gi-enjoy sa bata ang control niya over his parents. Og makuha niya ang tanan niyang gusto. Dinhi, ma-feel sa bata nga whatever he thinks is right. Maong he won't cope with conflicts and di siya kabalo mo control sa iyang emotions. Maong kun inigdako sa bata under permissive parenting style, mahimong inconsiderate siya o di siya kabalo sa iyang mga limitations. Negligent. Parents does not respond to the child's needs and makes very few demands. Dinhi nga style, neglectful ang parents, like ang parent seems like walay involvement into their children's life. This usually happens kanang busy ang parents sa business and wala sila time sa ilahang anak. Maong batiyon sa bata nga alone siya. Dinhi na ay full freedom ang bata but never receives feedback, affection, love, or even attention. So, makarealize ang bata nga it doesn't matter kung unsa iyang buhaton kay wala man sab nag-care sa iya. Maong lack of attention leads to a lack of trust sa kaugalingon ug sa uban. As a result, unable to form healthy relationship and develop negative image of herself. So this style is the worst parenting style. So this time, let's have a quick look at what preschoolers can do. First, on their expression of basic emotions. So the preschoolers can express what he likes, what they dislikes, and can talk about difficult feelings like anger, sadness, worry that he or she experiences. Self-regulation of feelings or emotion. So the preschoolers are willing to try something in order to learn more even if unsure of a successful outcome. They persevere when faced with challenging or new tasks. They accept brief delays in gratification, accepts defeat well, and is not a sore loser. May have some fears but is not overly fearful, anxious, or nervous. And they may feel sad at times but not to the point where he or she depressed. Displays of self-appraisal emotions like shame, pride, and guilt. So the preschooler plays to learn a game. They plays to gain mastery of a game, shows pleasure and enjoyment over her or his successful attempts or efforts, confidently joins small groups especially if situation is competitive, and seeks assistance from an adult or child to solve a problem. Receptivity to others' emotions. Receptivity to emotions and having empathy. So the preschoolers feel others' distress and acts appropriately, like extends help, comfort, give, and suggest. In terms of emerging sense of selves, the preschoolers have knowledge of self and basic rules of people in his environment. Talks about parts of the body and their functions. So the preschooler talks about own specific abilities and characteristics. Like for example, sings, dance, helpful. They also describe what primary caregiver can do, what they like and don't like. They defend position with determination, can give reasons or justify why he or she acted that way he or she did. Forming attachments. So the preschooler shows preference for the company of significant adults and children. Interactions with other children. So the preschooler plays with 2 or 3 children using the same play equipment. Participates in games with other children but plays in his own way. Chats or converses with other children. Takes turns and shares toys with others, actively participates in classroom and group routines, and plays organized groups games fairly. Interaction with adults. So they verbalizes feelings related to events that arise in classroom, home, and environment in a positive way. They also speaks respectfully with adults using po and opo and or appropriate titles. They recognizes the importance of adults, ideas, and experiences by listening and asking questions when they share these. They also clarifies rules and routines before abiding by them. Next, they share personal perspective when they don't agree with or see the value of a rule or a routine. Last, they also can take on another person's viewpoint. So in terms of pakiramdam or sensitivity, preschoolers know when to stop asking questions or when he is being makulit. He also cooperates to minimize conflict or tension. Appreciating diversity. So they ask questions that indicate he or she notices differences in socioeconomic status. They also ask questions about new or different words and practices in community. They talk about gender differences and rules. They also regard everyone respectfully, using proper titles or labels, and does not resort to name calling. They also are willing to make friends and with other children and adults in different situations and locations, like for example in schools or in neighborhood. So preschoolers can now learn to appreciate things in diversity. The people where they tend to make friends to whoever they meet in different situations. They can understand that each individual is unique and recognize our individual differences and that they respect everyone. Now let's enumerate the role of caregivers in socio-emotional development of the preschoolers. From the discussion, one can see the very important role that parents and teachers play in socio-emotional development of the preschooler. So the following tips are given to caregivers. So first, the caregivers should greet each child with his or her names each day. Be sincere and respectful to each child. Read storybooks that deal about friendship and different feelings. Third, develop routines in the home or school that encourage working together and getting along. Fourth, help children learn to make rules and play simple games by providing opportunities for them to play in small groups. Next, play games that involve social interaction and teamwork. 6. Observe how a child plays with other children. Teach him to request, bargain, negotiate, and apologize. Help children understand and cope with strong feelings by giving them words that they can use to express how they feel. They can also use dolls, puppets, or pictures to demonstrate to children how to express feelings appropriately. 9. Acknowledge how the child feels. Next, catch children doing good. Affirm the efforts they make to accomplish something and be specific with your praise. Next, read storybooks that deals about friendships. And lastly, for teachers, develop routines that encourage working together and getting along. Therefore, the socio-emotional development of a preschooler is important. Why? Because this development influences a child's self-confidence, empathy, the ability to develop meaningful and lasting friendship and partnerships, and a sense of importance and value to those around of a preschooler or a child. As an educator, it is very important to learn about the socio-emotional development of the preschooler because teachers are considered as a second parents of the learners and we are responsible for their development. As an educator, we must know how to deal our students and help them in developing their socio-emotional aspect.